Hello, everyone. Welcome to Football Uncensored. We have another live show, another transfer show. So, welcome. Of course, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and yeah, let's get started. I hope all of you are well. We're gonna have a double header tonight, of course, here on Football Uncensored. And if you are a Newcastle fan, we got Talk of the Tune worldwide in UFC Talk TV. But if you're a neutral, of course, welcome to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. My name is Chris and let's get started. Shout out to Mighty Mag and AG in the chat as well. You guys are doing great, so appreciate that. And hopefully all are doing well and magnificent, wonderful. Hope everybody's doing well. Anyways, let's start with it. Let's not waste any time because we got a lot of news to cover in football in general. Some of these transfer news are related to football, and as you see right there, Kylian Mbappe officially unveiled as a Real Madrid player in front of a packed Santiago Bernabeu, as you see right there. The Frenchman ready for war with Real Madrid, number 9. He's going to be wearing 9, so good stuff. Another nugget that's out there, and I know this is not so much transfer, but another nugget is that Lamine Yamal, after an amazing Euros, he's going to be wearing number 19 like Lionel Messi. And that caught my attention. And I don't know if he did it for a reason. Now, as you know, I know this is kind of a weird story, but it is true. Lionel Messi bathed him as a baby, which is it is kind of weird, but it actually did happen. He also did do that with other babies. I mean, it was kind of a maybe a marketing thing. Well, maybe not so much of a marketing thing, but it was a UNICEF thing for it's like a charity stuff that back in the day they used to have that, and Messi was part of that. And of course, a lot of people saying that Messi bathed him, so he gave him the touch, the magic. Well, there you go. He's going to be wearing 19 for Barcelona. And number 19 really doesn't have a value in football like a number 10, like a number 9. So maybe he did do this for that specific reason anyway. We'll have to see about that. Moving on now, this has to do with transfer news, of course, as you know, that Gareth Southgate is gone. He resigned his position for the England as an England manager, and with that being said, they're going to have to find a new one. Well, one of them that's on the loop is Pochettino. The other one, Eddie Howe from Newcastle United. So Fabrizio Romano just saying that he might be in the atmosphere of managers that they would like to have. Potter is another one. But Fabrizio reporting that, of course, what Darren Eales, CEO of Newcastle United, had to say about this situation. He said, for sure, we'd fight to keep him at the club. For us, he is exactly the right man for the project we are on at Newcastle United, and that is why we are committed to a long-term deal with him. We love him. That's what Darren Eales came out and said. Now, we also have word of what Keith Downey had to say about this situation. So let's listen to Keith Downey in Sky Sports, on Sky Sports, about Darren Eales, about Eddie Howe potentially going for the England manager spot.
Speak regularly to Eddie Howe, of course. Do you think that A, he would want the England job, and 2, he'd be a good fit?
Look, Dave, I think he would want it. I think he's gone on record to say it would be a highlight of his career, and it's something that he would love. But in the future, look, I just think at 46 years of age, I think it would probably be too early for Eddie Howe right now. He's said on multiple occasions before that he loves the day-to-day coaching on the training ground. His favourite part of his job is improving players. And look, he's first in at the training ground at 6 o'clock every morning and last to leave. And he wouldn't have that with England, would he? That intensity would not be there. And I feel very much like he still has unfinished business at Newcastle United. Look, I think any interest from England would be flattering for Eddie Howe, and there will be some questions. People will say, well, hang on, things maybe aren't quite so rosy at Newcastle United. There's been a change in the ownership with Amanda Staveley and her husband Mehrdad Guddusi selling their shares last week. They were very close allies of Eddie Howe, but I just think any potential approach from England would come at the wrong time for Eddie Howe. I think he's excited for the season ahead. As Darren Eales said in his interview with us just an hour or so ago, everyone at the club now is looking ahead to next season and what we can do in the transfer market, and that is what Eddie Howe's immediate focus is. So while I think he'll be flattered, while I think it's something that he would without doubt consider in the future, I think he very much still is true to those words that he's uttered a number of times now, that he's committed to Newcastle United. He wants to be a coach on the training ground day to day. He's got that here on Tyneside, and it would be very different for England. So it might just be the case, my reading of the situation, certainly, that it was perhaps if that offer came, it'd probably come at the wrong time for him.
All right. Well, those were the words of Keith Downey, of course, talking about the potential departure of Eddie Howe. I mean, he's clearly saying that that's probably not what Eddie is wanting to do at this moment in time. So let's move on with other transfer news. Manchester United very keen to sell in Mason Greenwood to any club, and at this point in time, it looks like he is headed towards Marseille or Marseille, as some of you might say. So please don't make fun of him. Don't make fun of me. But Fabrizio reporting that Manchester United authorized Mason Greenwood to travel to Marseille, and Greenwood will take the private flight, undergo medical test, and sign a 5-year deal as a new Olympique de Marseille. To be one of the transfers. They have the green light from Man United, and documents are all in place. Here we go is confirmed according to Fabrizio Romano. So Manchester United finally getting rid of this guy. You listen, as far as the domestic stuff, we never condone it. It's never good, and it certainly needs to be condemned by anybody when they talk about this situation, regardless of football. When it comes to the talent in itself, I mean, should we say that he should never play football? I'm not on that. I'm not on that scale. I mean, he should never. He should stop working. Or maybe it's football one of those jobs where you have to be a model citizen to keep performing in it. Well, I don't know who's got the right and all the truth in this, but at the end of the day, what he did was horrible. But it seems like he and his wife or girlfriend are back together. So there you go. Now he's going to France, and Man United finally move on, because certainly from the PR perspective, this is not a positive at all. Fabrizio Romano also confirming that Alain Saint Maximin, former Newcastle United player, is official. He signs as a new player for Fenerbahce, as we would say in Spanish. Don't know how it's pronounced in English, but he's going there on loan from Al Ali. He's going to be, according to this report, crucial for Jose Mourinho, or Jose Mourinho was crucial for this deal to happen anyway. So he's going to Turkey. Not really, hadn't been lighting it up in Saudi Arabia, but he's going to try his luck back in Europe once again. So there you go. Talking about Manchester United as well, they are very, very likely to sign this fella right here. They are waiting for the approval on contracts documents from Leny Yoro. Scamp, as he will undergo medical test. Manchester United have booked a medical for Yoro already today in order to be fast and avoid any last minute surprises. He seems to be fit and everything seems to be good. He comes from Lille. There is a bit of a controversy there because obviously he comes from a club that's owned by Ineos as well. Therefore, but since if this happens, if this goes through, other companies, other clubs should not be under scrutinized by doing this type of move. It's clear that it can be done. The Premier League accepts it. So, for example, Newcastle United, if they have a club in Saudi Arabia that they own, which they do not own every single club in Saudi Arabia, I might add, because it seems like the Saudi Arabian PIF owns every club. They do not, and so we'll have to see what happens here from here on out. But yes, it looks like Yoro might be going very much 95% going to Manchester United. There was talks that Real Madrid were interested, but Real Madrid said, I'm going to give you 20 million or you're coming free next year. You make your decision. Well, Yoro looks like he's decided to go to Manchester United. Moving on, John Heitinga has been appointed to Liverpool's backroom staff in the position of assistant coach. The 40-year-old becomes the latest addition to Arne Slot's staff ahead of the 24-25 season. So look at that. I mean, it didn't take long for Arnie to make moves. Fabrizio Romano is reporting as well, going back to Real Madrid. This is interesting, that Luka Modric signs a new deal at Real Madrid until 2025. He will be a new Real Madrid captain, of course. And would you look at that? Look at Modric extending his deal. He's definitely going to retire at Real Madrid. He could have came to Newcastle United. I'm talking about it from a Newcastle fan perspective. But yes, he was close, but it didn't happen. It's all right. He's going to be. I'm assuming at this point in time he's going to be going 1 year extensions every year until he decides to retire. So that's kind of what's going to happen. Another surprising news is this one right here, ladies and gentlemen, is that Thiago Alcantara, who just retired from football, recently playing at Liverpool Football Club, has gone to Barcelona. He becomes a new member of Hansi Flick's staff at Barcelona after announcing his retirement. He's also going to travel to the USA preseason tour with the team. So would you look at that, man? The one and only Alcantara, former Spanish international as well, going becoming a manager quickly in a hurry. So that is that. Moving on to some more international news. Fabrizio Romano reporting that Alvaro Morata has signed a new contract as an AC Milan player until June 2028, plus an option for a further year. So look at that. Alvaro Morata looks to be going to Italy, back to Italy, because he did play at Juventus, remember? So he was playing at Atletico Madrid. It looks like things in Spain wasn't what he expected. Therefore, he's moving on to Milan. But you might criticize Morata, man, but look, he's played at every big club there is to play. He almost went to Barcelona, but it didn't. He played at Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Juventus. Now he's going to AC Milan. He's played at Chelsea before, so he's certainly done his thing. So we'll have to see what happens with Alvaro Morata, of course. Just keeping an eye on that stuff. When it comes to let's get back to the Premier League, and Arsenal ready to offer Spanish Euro in a former Newcastle United player, because he played in the Premier League already, 28 years of age, a contract of a lifetime for him, obviously, and is that Mikel Merino might get an approach from Arsenal, from the Gooners, potential Premier League champions if they do the right thing, or certainly they're going to be fighting for the title. So they're going to approach Merino for a contract. Man, it's unbelievable how some of these players' careers have turned in for the better. So we'll have to see what happens. This is the Sun football reporting, by the way. So we'll have to see what happens there. Another player that's been heavily linked with all clubs in Premier League, especially Arsenal, and has been linked to Chelsea, and is that Victor Osimhen from Napoli looks like Paris Saint-Germain are in talks to sign him. Everybody thought that he was staying at Napoli after Conte came back or went to the club now, and Arsenal fans thought they were going to sign him. Chelsea fans thought they were close as well. Where it looks like PSG is got the handle on this thing. Let's listen to what Sky Sports reported today.
Breaking news: we're hearing Paris Saint-Germain are in talks to sign Victor Osimhen from Napoli in a deal that also has implications for Romelu Lukaku's future at Chelsea. Discussions are ongoing around a deal that may involve at least one PSG player moving to Napoli in the opposite direction. The players that PSG have put forward include Carlos Soler, Norda Makele, and South Korean forward Lee Kang-in. Lee is the only player Napoli have indicated an interest in so far. So does this mean Napoli will then make a move for Lukaku? Now, he spent last season on loan at Roma, and he's wanted by new Napoli boss Antonio Conte. They worked together at Inter, winning the league for the first time in 11 years in 2021.
Oh, well, we'll have to see what happens with Victor Osimhen, of course. On another piece of news, Harry Kane is not expected to give any consideration to international retirement, and he will instead use Lionel Messi as an inspiration as he looks to bounce back from another final defeat with England. As you know, Messi stayed with the national team until he finally won one in 2022, won the World Cup, and then he won the Copa America and another Copa America back to back. So at the end of his career, very end of his career. So maybe that's what Harry Kane is finally or wanting to do. Wait until the very end to win something with England. Is it going to happen? We'll have to wait and see. But it looks like he will not retire whatsoever. Moving on, United District reports that Manchester United are ready to extend the contract of Scott McTominay in Fleming. You might like this one. Scott McTominay to keep him at Old Trafford. Also reporting, this source comes from Alex Crook, contributor for TalkSport and Star Sports Bet. So there you go. It looks like McTominay is renewing with Manchester United, or looking like he's going to. Also, Jamie Jackson reporting on the United District, posted by the United District, that Ten Hag retains an interest in Manuel Ugarte from PSG. The sale of Casemiro may have to occur to allow the purchase of Ugarte, who is valued at 37.8 million pounds. A loan deal may also be an option. So we'll have to see what happens. He's been one of the flops of Euro, by the way. He didn't perform at all, hasn't been performing well at PSG, but it looks like Manchester United is looking to be interested in the Uruguayan international. So we'll have to wait and see. On the Man City piece of news, Romano reporting that he understands Man City are set to make Savio a deal official this week as first signing of their summer window. It's all signed for Brazilian winger to join Man City from Troyes is exclusively revealed in February. So it's going to be done official soon, according to this report. So he will be more than likely the first signing for the Citizens this summer window so far. Keep talking about Man City. Romano reporting as well that Ederson, negotiations between Al Nassr and Man City for Ederson are very much happening at this point. They're not happening. They're currently off after a 30 million euro proposal was rejected and a 60 million euro request was, no pun intended, requested by Man City. Man City wants 60 million euros. Al Nassr wants to pay 30. They're very well off at this moment in time. Atletico Paranaense and Brazil goalkeeper Bento, one of the main names now on the short list for Al Nassr, is talks are underway. So it looks like Ederson wants to go to make his money, but Man City wants 60. Al Nassr wants to pay 30. Very much, of course. As you know, already on this channel, Football Uncensored, we had a conversation with Tottenham Away TV, Stelios, about his club, Tottenham Hotspur, and how they are not making any moves. And the moves that they are making are young players, or players that really make no sense, according to him, to get for his club. And he is now sharing that BBC Sport saying that West Ham agreed loan deal for Nice defender Todibo. And so he reposed, Stelios, how in the hell are West Ham getting Todibo on loan? And the loan deal, European qualifying, FFP Kings, PSR leaders, and overall bigger club Spurs get is Timo Turbo Werner. The delusion gets worse by the day. How do fans accept this nonsense? So, very much a lack of, because I've been looking for all teams, what they're doing, what they're acquiring, what they're linked with, and certainly nothing for Tottenham Hotspur. So it's certainly one of those things. One of the things that I forgot to tell Stelios that I can compare Mike Ashley to Daniel Levy is that they both don't and didn't spend on their club whatsoever. And certainly looks like Daniel Levy is doing the same. So moving on now, another player that was heavily linked to the Premier League, Arsenal, I believe, Newcastle at one point, is Serhou Guirassy was linked to these clubs. Well, he looks like he will sign his contract at Borussia Dortmund pretty soon on Thursday. Final part of medical test successfully completed as today. As planned, Borussia will trigger the 17.5 million euro release clause. So here we go, it's confirmed from Fabrizio Romano. 17.5 million euros for this guy. Are you kidding me? This guy is a goal scoring machine for Stuttgart, and no Premier League club wanted to trigger that release clause. I'm a Newcastle fan. Newcastle couldn't trigger that 17.5 release clause. Oh my God! Which in pounds, it's a different amount. Come on, man. Well, we'll have to see what happens from that one. Moving on to the next one. Transfer News Live reporting that Kasper Schmeichel is set to join Celtic, Ian Fleming's beloved Celtic, this week as the Danish goalkeeper prepares to complete his medical, according to Scottish Sun. So there you go. Ian Fleming, I got you a nugget there, my brother. Moving on to the next one, the build in Germany. And of course, corroborated by Transfer News Live, reporting that as it stands, Joshua Kimmich wants to fulfill his contract at Bayern Munich until 2025. So it looks like the German international will stay at Bayern Munich and wants to make his move on the free. It looks like he wants to just have the ultimate authority, to be the ultimate authority in his transfer next summer on a free. He wants to get that money that clubs usually pay for free players instead of paying a transfer fee. So he wants to take care of that. He's at Bayern Munich. What is it? One more season is not going to hurt anybody. He's playing at a top club. So there you go. On the last piece of transfer news, we got Atletico Madrid #1 target to replace Alvaro Morata, who's going to Milan, as we reported, is none other than Julian Alvarez. He will become one of the pillars of Diego Simeone's new project. This is according to ESPN, by the way. And Julian Alvarez, he is a star. He's played great every time. He's won everything there is to win in football. Maybe La Liga will be one of his projects. He's won everything at Premier League, but he certainly wants to play. That is the biggest thing. Julian Alvarez wants to play and be a starter, and he's not going to get that done at Man City, obviously, because Erling Haaland is there, and not because one is better than the other. You can say each. I think I would rather have Julian Alvarez, to be honest, because I think he gives me more. But other people can argue Erling Haaland, and they don't really have to battle each other. They can play with each other. But it looks like, according to Pep, that's not going to happen. Therefore, the kid wants to be somewhere where he can play. And with that being said, well, he might not get that opportunity, but leaving the club might be an option. I guess other Premier League clubs are not interested. Chelsea were rumored that they were interested. Nothing there. But according to ESPN, Atletico Madrid might be coming for Julian Alvarez. We will have to see what happens with that one. Last but not least is a piece of news. It is official that the French Football Federation is suing the Argentine Football Federation over racial and discriminatory remarks sung by the supporters and by the team. This is Football Uncensored, so we are uncensored, ladies and gentlemen. We talk about whatever we would like related to football in this channel. One thing I must say, I don't want to excuse anything that Enzo Fernandez and company have said, sung, or whatever. I want to speak with you as European folks for the most part, as directed to European folks for the most part, to American folks for a small part of the channel that follow from the US and anywhere else in the world. I want to explain to you something from the South American perspective. I'm not going to say that there's no racism. Racism is everywhere. In South America, in Latin America, when I moved to the United States, I realized how big and heavy racism is, or that's the topic of it, right? In South America, you can use the N-word in South America. You can use the N-word as a friendly manner, joking around. You can use that word amongst all kinds of racial slurs that you can use as a joking manner with your buddies, with your friends. It's not a black and white, brown thing. Anybody can do that, and nobody takes offense to it because what we assess is your intent behind what you say. And if you're joking around, they might joke around with you, and it's all good and fun. When you say something out of malice, then it gets taken. And then it gets dealt with accordingly. When I came to America, none of that existed. None of that. That goes out the window. You can't say nothing. You can't joke around. Nothing. And it looks like it's the same way in Europe. I'm not justifying what Enzo did, but he comes from a different area of the world. A different area of the world. And it was definitely, he shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have done that. Now, the annihilation on social media of Enzo Fernandez is nonsensical, stupid. You can't. Two wrongs don't make a right. If they need to sanction him, they need to expose him for a few games. Whatever you need to do, take his pay, which actually hurts the most in everybody. You take away my pay, and I'm going to be hurt. If you need to do that, then do it. But let's not scrutinize this kid for a lifetime. The same thing with Mason Greenwood. They did wrong. They need to pay for it. If the court of law says they need to go to jail, now I'm not talking about Enzo Fernandez, but I'm talking about Mason Greenwood more or less. Did they need to do that? They need to go. If they don't, then they don't. But you can't tell somebody that they can't perform their job. Simple, for a lifetime. You need to sanction them. You need to suspend them. Go ahead and do whatever you need to do. So the French Federation, National Team Federation, or the Football Federation is suing the Argentine Federation. We'll see how that ends up. He shouldn't have said what he said or sung what he said, what he sung, and that is that. Now, to catalyze all Argentinian people is racist. People need to relax. People need to relax, and they need to understand what part of the world people come from. In South America, again, I walk up to a black person, joke around, and they can joke around with me. Nothing happens if there's no malice or ill intent behind what you're saying. That's where he's from. So to categorize South Americans and specifically Argentinians as racist, then we are pissing out of the toilet seat in this one. So I just want to clarify that. I'm not justifying what he said. I'm not saying he's right. I think he's wrong for singing that on the phone. People need to realize what they're doing. Put the phone down, man. You celebrate, put the phone down. And more importantly, stop saying ignorant stuff, if that was ignorant to some folks. Some folks think that it was taken out of context. Well, he shouldn't have said it anyway. He shouldn't have sung it. He's a public figure, so needs to understand what the responsibility that comes with that. We have 339 people watching and by the way, he's been criticized by some of his teammates and also praised by some of these teammates. So you know how this situation is dividing and divided. So let's try to maintain a neutral, even keel, tranquil train of thought in this situation. You can't castigate a guy for a lifetime because he made a horrific mistake, if you want to categorize it as that. You know, teach the kid. If you need to teach him something, teach him. He's a young guy. He's not even 25 yet. He's young. If you think he's ignorant, teach him not to be ignorant. Simple as that. 342 people watching. I appreciate all your support. We're going to get to the comments, of course, and see what happens. If you are watching on X, come on to the YouTube side at Football Uncensored or at FT Uncensored. You can look us up at Football Uncensored. You see the logo right there. You'll see me live right now. And tomorrow, Thursday at 10 p.m., we're going to have a panel debate show with different fans. We got Bevo from Man City fan. We got Sicilian Gunner, Arsenal fan. I'm going to try to get a Chelsea fan, but also lined up a Liverpool fan. So we're going to be talking about our respective clubs with that. So Fox is saying Argentina didn't even play France, so why would they even sing that song after winning Copa America? Bizarre. But I understand that. I understand what you're saying. See, we need to put context into it. They play against France in the World Cup. In Argentinian culture, football culture, they will render a song to whoever they beat in the final, whatever rivalry they had, all the time. It happens all the time. Now, this particular song shouldn't have been song and all that stuff. So listen, but again, we got to maintain a cool head in these particular moments. You know, everybody on social media feel like they're judges, like they're the court of law, the law of the land, and they just castigate and annihilate anybody for no reason. And I'm not saying that this is no reason at all, but again, maintain a level of tranquility in each situation, and we can fix the problem. Again, if he is ignorant, then let's teach the kid how not to be ignorant. And let's do that. So anyways, let me see. Let me go some other points right here. Queen of Heart, every continent has different way of expression and learning. Global expression is education. We all learn. There you go. From my experience, it's on a whole different level compared to other parts of South America. There we go. Jesus, it all it's all took out of context. People are too sensitive these days. They say Copa America was a disaster. Well, it certainly was a disaster to say the least. As far as organization is concerned, it certainly was. I don't know if you're watching Mighty Win because you're texting me. I will be hosting. We will have the Toon Talk Worldwide show here in a minute. So relax, brother. Relax, Mighty Win. Mighty Win. He's just a scary little twat, man. And he's old as hell too. But appreciate all of you. I appreciate your support as usual. Hit the like button. I'll tell you what. Head and go to Toon Talk Worldwide. If you're a Newcastle fan, join us at NUFC Talk TV on the Toon Talk Worldwide show. As we're going to be live there with the fellas to talk about all things Newcastle United, and of course with the perspective of fans from all over the world. So there you go. This was a quick transfer show. I appreciate all that. And let me see. Arsenal on that heel says it's easy to say stay tranquil when you're not subject to that behavior. My brother, Arsenal on the hill, I appreciate you coming on. Thank you for subscribing. I am Hispanic. See, that's the thing that we're missing out here, because we always think that racism is only towards one particular group of people. I am a Latin American, Peruvian, brown-skinned fella. I've experienced, and I live in the south of the United States of America, where when I came to a high school, which is secondary school in Europe or in England, I was the only one brown-skinned in my whole high school or secondary school. I've faced racism to my face, and I beat their ass. Don't worry about that. I handle my own. But you cannot generalize and castigate one particular person and say that that's how they are, and now he should be expulsed from football and he should be annihilated and be done. No, we need to have. So I know what I'm talking about when it comes to racism. All right. And so in the army, which I was in the army, I've defended racist leaders towards black people, towards Hispanic people, towards Indian people. See, nobody talks about everybody else. Everybody just talks about one particular race. And racism can go against everybody, right? So we got to maintain tranquility, and that's what I'm saying, because somebody can make a mistake. That doesn't mean that that's how they are, or that's who they are, or that we need to, that they're gone, that we need to annihilate them from the world. That doesn't work like that, man. It doesn't work like that. And by the way, judging in this particular situation, Arsenal on the hill, I'd like to know your name, by the way, so I can call you by your name. On this particular situation, you can see that he was reprimanded by some of his teammates, but he was also praised by other teammates like Jackson, that said, "I love you, man. I'm with you in this moment." Other players as well, and that they happen to be black, so they know this kid more than we do. So let's everybody out there in social media relax a little bit, man. We just need to relax. That's all I'm saying. And see and listen. If the FA, which the FA came out with something, I'll take a look at it. Of course, we may talk about it tomorrow on the panel debate show. So if they need to sanction him, if the Premier League needs to sanction him, then so be it. If they need to, if Chelsea Football Club needs to cut his pay for a few games, suspend him for a couple of games, then let him do that. I'm all for that. Let him get castigated, but this can't be all of a sudden he's the devil. You see what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Arsenal on the Hill. Thank you, everybody that's been watching, Kenny and everybody. We will see you on NUFC Talk TV, Toon Talk Worldwide show. If you're a Newcastle fan, follow us there, of course. If you're a neutral fan, if you're an Arsenal fan, if you're a Chelsea fan, if you're Man U, City, wherever you follow, whoever you follow, I appreciate your support. And we'll be back tomorrow here on this channel, Football Uncensored, on a panel debate show. So we'll see you on that one. Cheers, folks. Bye-bye.